Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. Let's just fucking get right into it because I have a Zoom meeting that I have to get to eventually in a little bit, and I also have to get work done. So we're just gonna be productive today. Let's chat a little bit about makeup. Also, please excuse the fact I'm sitting down and I'm just realizing that I have not yet changed out of my sports bra or beer shirt. So we're just gonna roll with it and accept that this is the situation that we're dealing with today. So today I am finally, in what feels like forever, going to film my review slash not revisiting, what do I even call these, like updates on Makeup Addiction Cosmetics. This was the black-owned indie brand that I tried in, I think, July. Or it could have been August. Might have been August. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I feel like I thoroughly tested out everything that I've tried, or everything that I bought, and I have lots of thoughts and feelings. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the Meadow eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. I have now used every shade in it, just to, like, I don't know, be thorough about what I'm talking about. The packaging of all of these products is, like, it's fine, you know. It's basically just like a cardboard, I think, like, palette with, it looks like just like stickers over the front of it. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not like, I think I talked about this before, I'm not like a super intense packaging person. Obviously, just like everyone else, I like nice packaging, but if it's not like the most luxurious, amazing packaging, I don't necessarily give that much of a shit, you know? And I mean, maybe the color story, obviously it's Meadow. This feels very spring, so maybe not the most fall appropriate, but you know what, you can wear whatever you want whenever you want. It's kind of how I live my life, and I would encourage you to do the same. But these shadows overall are so good. It's particularly the mattes. I feel like the mattes is where this brand really shines. Beautiful. Particularly this blue, I just adore. I think it's such a amazing blue shade. It's super pigmented, really deep, buildable, but still incredibly easy to blend. One of the best matte deep blues that I've ever used, and it very nicely really fills in a hole that I feel like I had in my collection. And these two more neutral shades, this is more of like a reddy orange, again, blend super beautifully. It's really beautiful, like warm neutral crease. I love it. The only it's not really a complaint, more of like a thought, is that the deeper shade in this palette obviously is this matte blue, and I did blend the matte blue into the orange in my like first impressions, but the only thing, because of that, it does get a little bit muddy, and I wouldn't normally do that, so I usually have to use another palette with this palette to get the depth that I usually like, or blend this blue into something else. I have this in my crease and outer corner, blended into a purple today. I really love the way my look turns out, if I do say so myself, even though it may not be the most appropriate for a work Zoom call, but c'est la vie. That was my only real concern. Otherwise, I think the metallics are really nice. They're really smooth, pigmented, really foiled. They're not like Juvia's Place intense, like metallic, super shiny, but they're still really nice. And I do find that this sandstone shade right here isn't necessarily the same formula as the rest. It's not quite as intense and quite as metallic. It's a little bit more sheer. I have used this all over the lid, but I usually use it as like an inner corner brow bone highlight. It's going to depend on your skin tone whether or not that, you know, is going to be suitable. But That's just one thing I noticed. So I don't like necessarily fault it for that. It's just something that I noticed. But yeah, I've really gotten along with this palette. I've enjoyed using it. It's such a beautiful matte formula. I would definitely be interested in checking out their other palettes, although the ones that I really want are out of stock. So anyway, this bronze shade is probably the most beautiful bronze shade that I've ever used. It's so good. This is 35 pounds, which is $60 Canadian. That's pretty expensive. I'm not gonna lie. But from what I've gathered, they usually have like sales or discounts and things like that. So you definitely can get this for less, and that's generally, generally recommend getting anything you can at a discount, right? Like, why not? But it is pretty expensive for a palette. But like, that's just because it's, you know, like conversion, shipping, duties and all that kind of thing. But if you're based in the UK, it's a brand to check out for sure. I think they make really, really quality makeup, and also if you can get a sale, check it out, because I think when I purchased these items, it was like 70% off. So it was actually not too bad at all. The next thing that I tried that I just kind of threw into my cart because it was discounted, I was like, I don't know, I just got it, okay? You know, I had an impulse moment, but I've actually been surprised by how much I've been enjoying this. It's the Holy Glow Fantasy palette. Basically, it's on their website as like a highlighter palette. If you love like really intense bright colors like these for highlighters, more power to you. Like, go for it. For me and my skin tone and my makeup preferences, I use these as eyeshadows, and to me they feel like eyeshadows, and I've really been enjoying using them as such. I think it's a fun palette to have for like a pop of color, and honestly having this palette has made me reach into my like matte collection of shadows, and I've just been really enjoying playing with this palette. Again, the packaging is like the same across the board for all of these products. It's like cardboard with like almost stickers over top of it. It does have a unicorn on it. If that's your thing, great. It's not necessarily mine. But yeah, I just think these are really beautiful. They're really intense, really pack a punch. They're really impactful shadows. I think I've actually worn this gold and this green on in videos, and this is the purple that I'm wearing on my lids today, and they're just really fun bright shades, and you can pop all of these shadows, I think, out of every single one of their palettes out. And so these shadows are definitely ones that if I was going somewhere, whatever, like I would consider taking these out of this palette and just putting them into my singles collection just to use, because they're really beautiful. And the fact that I do have them, I'm very happy. This pink is so beautiful. It's like a pink with a blue shift to it, and then this green is an intense lime green. I absolutely love it. And this purple is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, like I said, and it's like the perfect metallic companion shade. It's basically like the Juvia's Place Zulu palette purple in a metallic formula, and I'm just like, I'm fucking here for it. I really love it. This palette is 25 pounds, which is about 42 Canadian dollars across the board. I'm gonna say that the prices converted to Canadian are just expensive. So I'm just gonna reiterate, like, if you can get them on a sale, wait for that. I don't necessarily know that I would say that they're worth it to pay full price for it, not because they're not bad or not because they're not good or that I really enjoy them or I think they're like really great quality, because I do. I don't think they're bad, but it's just expensive, you know? Like, I think any palette of 4 shadows for $42 is expensive, but like I said, you can often get sales and discounts. And there are also 3.5 grams of shadow in every single pan across all of the things I'm going to talk about. So the eyeshadow palette, the highlighters, these are all 3.5 grams across the board, which is pretty, it's a lot. Like that's a really good amount of shadow. And then the last thing, well, the last two things I have to talk about, they're kind of similar, are the actual highlighter palettes that I personally use as highlighters. So I have the Holy Glow Volume 1 and the Holy Glow Volume 2. And I think these are beautiful. Shocking, I know. I really enjoyed using them. I think they have a really beautiful range of highlighters. Definitely some more neutral and some that are more colorful. I'm going to swatch these on my girlfriend as well, as I usually do with my reviews. But based on swatches of both of these palettes, I think the shifts that show up in some of the colorful shades, like there's this green shade here and there's a pink shade here, and then this palette has like, this is a more goldy tone, show up more in a more obvious way compared to on me. They all kind of look white with like a little, not white, but like the shift of color isn't as obvious on my skin tone. But when I've seen them online swatch, and what you'll see, I think, because I haven't done it yet, on someone with deeper skin tone, the shifts show up a lot more prominently. So I think that these shades and highlight palettes are going to be applicable to like a pretty broad range of skin tones. It just obviously depends on like your shade preference, because this is the more neutral of the palettes, the Volume 1, whereas the Volume 2 has definitely a lot more colorful shades, and to me this is the one that translates, I imagine, better to deeper skin tones. Obviously I'm not the best judge of that, right? So but that's just my impressions, and it's, I mean, I think important to note. Again, this bronze is a beautiful eyeshadow, and this peachy like gold shade in the Volume 1 highlighter palette is such an amazingly beautiful blush topper. I reach for this palette just to use this as a blush topper. It's so beautiful. And the thing that I like about this highlighter formula is that it seems intense when you swatch it, and when you like initially, you know, start to buff it onto your face, it's like, whoa, like that's almost too much. But they're a little bit softer, and so when you actually like buff them into your skin, they just look really beautiful, really glowy, and I don't necessarily think that they look like an intense blinding highlight that's like super unwearable and like way too much. I think when you buff them in, they just look beautiful, glowy, like just make your skin look healthy. Really nice. I'm wearing today the white highlight. Obviously that's going to be a little bit more intense because this is just like full white. Very much like Becca Pearl. And this like champagne shade, I actually find that I can use it by itself. It does look a little deep, so sometimes I mix the white in a little bit, but this is a more like subtle because it's not as like loud and intense highlight, and that is just beautiful glow from within. I really love it. I just think these are beautiful highlighter palettes, and I would definitely recommend checking them out if you're going to make an order from them, because I think these palettes are so nice. I know that I say that about a lot of the brands that I talk about, but I just think all of the indie brands that I've been trying in this series have just been really knocking it out of the park. I've been so impressed, and just every single one of them is just a really welcome addition to my makeup collection. Like I have never felt like I don't need any more makeup. Like truly I don't need it, but I haven't ever felt like, oh, there's no place for this, I regret buying this, you know, like, you know, every single item that I've tried so far in this series, including these products, have just been such a joy to work with, and I've had nothing but good experiences with all of the brands that I've been talking about so far. They're really sweet, and I think it's definitely a brand that I would recommend checking out. Hopefully this video was a little bit shorter, sweeter, more succinct. We've all got places to be. I thank you all so much for watching. I always think it's a really incredible thing when people take any time out of their day to watch me talk about random ass nonsense. But I just want to thank you so much. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see from me. And I hope to see you next time. Bye. There has to be something in there. Fills in a hole. Okay, no.